It's the media chat room where the celebrity headlines are talking. Now, this headline is a Diddy-related topic. One of his old artists, who goes by the name of Shyne, was involved in a 1999 nightclub shooting where he was the co-defendant of Puffy, who ultimately got convicted for 10 years on first-degree assault, gun possession, and reckless endangerment, while Diddy was found not guilty. Being that he was a citizen of Belize, upon finishing his sentence, he had to be deported. Upon returning to his home country, he decided to get into politics. He is the leader of the opposition in the Belize House of Representatives. So although he's been in the world of politics in Belize, and he's continuing to make strides in the political world, they continue to bring up the incident that happened in 1999, trying to use his past to discredit him. So while in an interview with Channel 5 Belize, his affiliation with the incident was brought back up, and he informed the interviewer that he was a fall guy, which corroborates his story with Natania Reuben, one of the victims who was injured at the club that night, who states Diddy is the one who pow her in the face. Now, although Diddy was found not guilty on criminal charges, he was sued by Natania Reuben, and they settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount, which is why she probably declined to interview in the early 2000s when Shyne was interviewed by MTV.
Natania Reuben, the shooting victim most seriously injured that night, when contacted by MTV News, she declined comment.
But now with everything happening with Diddy in the media, she has come forth to say that Diddy is the one who pow her, which she said in 1999. Matter of fact, she said that when she went into the hospital that night, she told the doctors that Diddy was the one who pulled the trigger, and the doctors testified this statement in the court. However, he was still found not guilty. So now that Shyne is in the media and being asked about this incident, he's referring people to watch the statement made by Natania Reuben, which helps support his statement that he's have always said of him being innocent. Now, when the interviewer asked him, is the statement that she made accurate, his response is he's not getting into that, which means he cannot confirm nor deny, which now makes chatty patties like myself very curious, because although he's saying he's innocent and did not do it, he's not willing to say who actually did it, which possibly confirms the statement made by Mark Curry stating that Shyne was paid $1 million from Diddy for his pain and suffering. And if what Mark Curry saying is true, could that be the reason why Shyne does not want to confirm or deny the shooter? Because although in this interview he was saying that he was a fall guy, he means on an involuntarily basis, because he has always maintained his innocence, telling MTV in the early 2000s that he was set up by Diddy and his lawyers to be made the fall guy. Now we're going to get into the video which he explains everything, including Mark Curry stating that Shyne was paid for his pain and suffering, if you know what I mean. But please do me a favor, like and share the video with everyone that you know. Then subscribe to the channel so that you can become an official Chatty Patty lover, and I promise you're going to love it here. And last but not least, turn on your notification bell so that you know when we drop our next video or go live. Let's officially call this day Flashback Friday. Here's a video from the early 2000s of Shyne doing an interview with MTV, detailing a list of events that happened, leaving Shyne to accuse Diddy of setting him up, which ultimately gives him 10 years in prison after being found guilty of criminal charges.
As you know from the media standpoint, your trial was the Puffy trial. Do you feel that worked against you, all the fact that 99% of the focus was on him?
Obviously, he was the uber star, and I was just up and coming. So, yeah, it's gonna be a show. But he used that to just, just threw me off. Like, it was just terrible.
People probably have the impression that you're just consumed with the idea that, justice wasn't served here and that somebody turned his back on you.
It's not a matter of, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade?
That witness Shyne is referring to is Sharice Myers, a bouncer who was working inside Club New York when shots rang out that December night in 1999. In court, Myers claimed that she fell on top of Puffy during the shooting and said that he did not have a gun. But even as her testimony helped exonerate Puffy, it implicated Shyne. Myers told jurors that it was Shyne who first opened fire inside the club, letting off 2 shots toward the ceiling. Shyne's lawyers conceded that their client fired his gun, but only in self-defense. Shyne has maintained from the beginning that Myers' testimony, asserting that he was the first to open fire on that fateful night, is untrue.
If I'm telling you that she's lying, and you saying, hey, well, she helping me, but I'm facing 25 years, and you looking at probation. Yeah, those are the things that, you understand, are unacceptable. You don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to do nothing, but don't try to hurt me.
What continues to haunt Shyne to this day is that Myers wasn't called by the prosecution, but rather by his co-defendant's legal team. In his eyes, a move that doomed his own defense.
This woman was the most damaging witness of any witness. She was worse than the prosecution's witness. Right. Which destroyed me because the prosecution is saying I'm this belligerent, reckless, OK corralled fella. Right. And then my co-defendant is saying the same thing? That was it?
Just as damning as Shyne Myers' testimony, according to Shyne, was the team of lawyers appointed to him by Sean Combs. Shyne says Murray Richmond and others were at one time on the payroll of Combs' record label, Bad Boy. Because Puffy's defense implicated Shyne in the shootings, Shyne says having his own lawyers bankrolled by Bad Boy posed a conflict of interest.
As I understand it anyway, the fact that your lawyers, as it turns out, originally were on Puff's payroll, on the Bad Boy payroll, that's part of this current effort to get the case retried, right?
More or less. Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that and when you learned that they were on the Bad Boy payroll?
Well, it was always on the payroll, you dig, but that was at a point where I thought that was my comrade. So, I ain't have it like sense. That. Yeah, right. I was a fledgling artist. Like, right. I didn't, Shyne album didn't come out yet, so I didn't really have it like that. But at the point where, he calling the witnesses, to do me dirty, then you understand that, well, man, if these guys is working for him, cause I went to the judge like 3 times complaining about inefficiency with my lawyers, cause they was just dumbing out. Like, right. Witnesses be on the stand, they would ask them 2 questions that didn't make sense and then sit down. It's obvious that they were selling me, you understand, in order to appease him. There was a dual loyalty there.
Shyne's trial attorney, Murray Richmond, responded to Shyne's accusations by telling MTV News in a statement, quote, "I had absolutely no connection to Puffy Combs. My checks were handed to me by Shyne. I'm sorry he feels animosity towards me. I wish him nothing but the best."
Puff in this says that from day one, he offered you his legal team as well. That he said that Johnny Cocker and his guys could represent you as well.
Categorically unsure.
He says he offered to pay for your appeal.
Absolutely.
He said there's no beef between me and Shyne. Absolutely not. Everything's cool between us. Would you agree with that?
I mean, there is no me and Shyne. Like, it's,
There's no relationship there to have a beef, right?
Exactly. He doesn't exist to me, and, it's just really that simple.
Now, at that time, Shyne said there was no love for Brother Love. But over the years, he's worked on himself and even forgiven Diddy for setting him up.
Diddy with Brother Love, I don't really blame that on him now, right, as much as I did then, because I did go through a stage of bitterness. But in retrospect, I blame it more on the lawyers that were advising him
to separate the case
than him. Because his lawyers were there, to secure a not guilty verdict by any means. Right. He's a corporation, $100 million corporation. And, they look at me as the enemy. Now, this is...
But you didn't feel like
this is how many years ago? This is 20-something years ago.
20-something years
ago. So Puff is still young, relatively.
What is it, 1999?
1999, okay. 2000. Damn. So he's much younger then. And, it's a lot of pressure. He's about to lose everything. I'm about to lose everything. Right. I'm from that, though. Right. And then when your lawyers and maybe other people are misleading you and misguiding you, I think that's how everything, fell apart. And he said that to me.
Right. It's beautiful.
He said, man, I'm sorry, man. I should have never listened to those lawyers.
That's real.
And, I forgave him.
That's real.
But, it was traumatic.
Yeah, still
So
stings.
I would forgive him, and then, you might hear me a few months later,
still stings.
Going in on him.
Yeah.
That was over a decade ago. Right. And I was in a different space then. Diddy has supported me. He's been one of my biggest supporters. In the most recent years, after we reconciled, once I told him what I was doing in Belize, became one of my biggest supporters.
Right.
You know, whether it's telling people through his platforms what I was doing, whether it's, you know, financing what I was doing, and just giving me that moral support and that acknowledgement. And then recently they had tried to, after I got elected, pass legislation to disqualify me from the House of Representatives.
Wow.
To say that anybody that got convicted of a crime can't be in the House of Representatives. And you know, Diddy lost it when he heard that. And he got the revolt people, he got the publicists, he got everybody. He started talking to his legislative friends and was like, you know, we can't let this happen. You know, this young man changed his life. He's doing great things for his people. And, you know, he's black excellence. And I can't let this happen to my brother. And, you know, so he was very instrumental in, you know, when I came here, meeting with the legislators in Georgia. You know, so Puff, you know, to me, totally redeemed himself and is my brother and I love him. When you expect money from people, when you expect material things from people, you will always be disappointed.
What's it called? Entitlement?
I don't know if it's entitlement in my case, because, you know, after 10 years, when there are no expectations, whatever someone does or contributes, it just enhances, it's just extra. But, you know, I got what I got going, but that's still my brother. So my love doesn't have a price tag on it. So I don't love you because, you know, you sent the Maybach to Belize for me. I don't love you because, you know, you gave me $1 million for my campaign. You gave me $1 million for my campaign.
But that's not the only $1 million that Shyne got from Diddy. According to Mark Curry, Shyne got $1 million through L.A. Reid to put out an album that never came out, leaving people to believe it was money for Shyne actually taking the fall for Diddy.
All right, so L.A. Reid gave him $1 million to put out an album, and the album never came out. I knew that when L.A. Reid went to give him that $1 million, that was Puff giving him the money, but he had to give it through L.A. Reid. They never intended on giving him an album. If they would have gave him $1 million for an album, wouldn't we have heard the album?
Okay, so what you're saying is this is Puffy's way of paying Shyne off for taking the rap for him.
You're very smart. That's when I realized, man, they must not be giving him the money for this album. That was just a way to get him some money, you know, for what he had to do. And they deported him.
So maybe it's a little bit clearer now as to why Shyne cannot say that Natania Reuben is accurately identifying the person who pow-powed her.
You know, the victim saying that it was Diddy that shot her, making accusations, and in those accusations he says that the gentleman confessed to the shooting. And that is what stands out to me the most, because, you know, I've done my best to put it behind me and to move forward. But it certainly reopens the wounds that I've been saying this all along. Everyone knew all along that I was the fall guy, but everyone knew that I was a young kid that took the fall. I'm just saying that I maintained my innocence all this time. I said I was defending myself. I didn't get into who did what. But the victim is telling you who did what.
Is she accurate, sir?
I'm not going to get into that. Certainly, I am relieved that people are saying what the truth is, that, you know, I did not shoot those people.
Now that's how you put a Diddy on Diddy. Save yourself while leaving others out there to dry. Because baby, he letting us know without letting us know. So in other words, it's not what he won't see, but it's him saying it indirectly through the people who are already saying it. Now Chatty Patties, it's time to hop in those comments. Do you believe that Diddy set Shyne up by making his lawyers throw the case? And do you think that Diddy supporting Shyne and giving him money is his way of trying to repay him back for making him out to be the fall guy? Get in those comments and let me know all your thoughts and opinions. And before you go, make sure you like and share this video with everyone that you know. Also, subscribe to the channel so that you can become an official Chatty Patty lover, and I promise you're gonna love it here. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you know when we drop our next video or go live. Now Chatty Patty, you already know how I do. First things first, I'm hopping in the comments to see what you had to say. Then it's back to scrubbing the headline so that I can bring you all another story. So that's gonna be all for now, and until next time, bye bye.